So good evening, everyone. So for tonight, we will be starting our lessons for fishery resources in the Philippines. So hopefully, as I have already, ay, nakita na ako. As I've already uploaded from your or for your Schoology, diba? I have uploaded different topics there about fish. Hopefully, you have already read some of that. So for tonight, we will be talking about the different fishery resources in the Philippines. So introduction. So through the ages, fishing had been one of the earliest occupation known to men. Sabi nga nila, di ba? Because civilization, saan ba nag-start ang civilization? If you were familiar with the um sibilisasyong Mesopotamia, 'di ba? Narinig niyo 'yan, di ba? Doon sa ilog Mesopotamia at ilog Tigris. Oh, Nile. Pero based on history, actually, all civilizations started near waters. Kasi nga, this is one type of resources that's already available to humankind. So that's why it has grown from crude and simple beginning into a very complex industry with modern equipment and installations. That as we have practiced from our day-to-day life today, day-to-day life of the fisherman naman, we have, 'di ba, yung simpleng pangingisda hanggang sa pinaka-komplikadong pangingisda. Meron tayong simple pangingisda, yung mga pukot, yung gumagamit lang sila ng ano lang God, yung mga tubo ba yun? Yung mga kahoy. And we have also the different fishing industries, di ba? Yung mga ginagamit ng ating mga canning companies, Century Tuna, 555 Tuna, di ba? Alangan naman, gumamit lang sila ng mga sibat at palaso, mga pana, or yung mga net. Hindi pwede. So that's why we have now the modern equipment and installations. The commodities that man derives from ocean, seas, lakes, or rivers are what? Numerous and varied that it's what commonly known. So that's why we have different kinds or variety of food coming from these places, from this body of water. So for your first assignment on this video, please look for a picture kung ano yung mga pwedeng pagkain. Pagkain ha, pagkain na lang para sure tayo. 5 pagkain na makikuha nyo sa ocean, 5 pagkain na makukuha nyo sa seas. Iba po yung dagat sa ocean. Okay? Next, lakes and rivers. Food. I'm not saying na fish lang yung makukuha nyo. Food yung category. So there are other types of organism na pwedeng kukunin dyan. Okay? So let's talk about fishery. All activities connected with the securing of animal vegetable products from the earth waters. Ibig sabihin, fishery ang tawag doon. Hindi po ito, this doesn't mean that it is fish. Fishery doesn't come from the word fish. Fishery comes from the word to fish. Kuha? To fish. To kunin. I will fish you out. Hindi siya yung fish na isda ha. To fish. Para kunin. To fish. Kaya siya fishery. Activities to what of securing of animal and vegetable products from earth waters. So fishery products, such items includes fish, clams, oysters, lobsters, eels. Sino bang kumakain ng eels dito? I hope walang kumakain ng eels. Kasi nakakakuryente daw yan siya. Shrimps. Oh my God. Turtles. Kumakain pa kayo ng turtles? Di ba, based on our Filipino folklore, pag kumakain kayo ng turtles, ginagabaan ka daw? 'Di ba?
Gamot daw yan, ma'am.
Ha?
Gamot daw yung turtles.
Oh, okay lang gamot, pero baka ano yan, parang malasin ka daw sa buhay. O ito,
Ah,
seal. Good luck sa'yo, kumain ka ng seal, bahala ka dyan. Then we have whales. Social whales. Hindi ka tayo makabili ng isda, bumili pa tayong whales. Then we have the different pearl sponges, coral shells, seaweeds, and also this includes different products derived from the seas. So we have different products naman derived from the seas. Number one product there is what we call ano yung pinaka number one product na kinukuha natin sa dagat? Sino makasagot? Iso Campo.
yung sardines.
Isda, ma'am, yung sardines na ginagawang
Hindi,
sardinas.
yung
Tamban.
already available, yung pinaka-available. What was yung pinaka-available?
Tuna.
Mga
No.
shells, ma'am.
Hindi, yung pinaka-available talaga.
Pinaka-
Hindi mo na kailangan magpalayo.
Seashell. Ano?
Isda.
Ano?
Seaweed.
Asin.
Starfish, ma'am.
Asin.
Asin,
Ay,
yes.
tama.
Asin. Salt. Isipin nyo, God, the different like fish, clams, oysters, nawawala yan sila. They need time to reproduce. But salt, ano lang, paigitan mo na yung tubig dagat. Then you have salt. Diba? So next, please remember that fish provides protein which is needed for the human diet. Fisheries are perhaps the most poorly managed of all natural resources. Naniniwala ba kayo nito? I think yes. The unscientific assumption that man never exhausts the resources of the sea has placed upon the nature the entire responsibility for what? Renewal and replenishment. So question. Ito muna, balik tayo doon ha. It has been a very, I think Philippines, ako mismo, I think Philippines has one of the most problematic most problematic has the most problematic sea has the most problematic sea law. Why? Because kasi ganito siya, we have one of the biggest sea in terms in ratio with our land resources. So that's why not everyone could patrol the sea. Hindi katulad ng ibang, not like other countries that they could just patrol around their sea and they will see to it that everything there is well taken care of. Ito siya, you look for pictures, huwag na lang, let's take example the Manila Bay in Manila. Ano nangyari sa Manila Bay, di ba? It was very polluted. That's why President Rodrigo Roa Duterte he sent DNR, all the agencies that would be related in cleaning up the different bodies of water in the Philippines just to save the seas. Kasi if we don't have the richness of our sea, what would happen to our tourism? What would happen to our economy? What would happen to our environment? Yes, it could sustain for another 50 to 100 years. But what would happen to the environment of the Philippines if those body of water were not taken care of? So, ano mangyayari? So, let's talk first about the genetic industries. These industries help develop plant and animal reproduction. They replace the use of materials with new ones through the industry of man. So we have the different genetic industry. in the past, diba, fishes needs to mate para lang makareproduce. But as of now, what happens? Kailangan pa ba mag-mate? Hindi na, diba? Anong nangyari sa atin? Due to the pakikialam ng tao, kaya na nating mag-produce ng napakaraming isda using genetic industries. Next, the extractive industries. These are what derived directly from nature. Among the most important are the mining, lumbering, grazing, fishing, and hunting. These extractive industries, they extract raw materials. For example, lahat ng sa mining, ano yung kinukuha natin sa mining? We have the different materials. We have gold. What do we use gold for? Ornaments. Lumbering. Lumbering is from forestry. So, galing sa forest. So, from the forest, people do lumbering. But in the Philippines, I know for a fact, I have a friend from Canada that they live, I have a friend that lives in Canada. So, what do they do? Sabi niya sa akin, Madam, actually, Madam, people here in Canada, they are only allowed to cut trees on a certain season. And there is a limit on how many trees they could cut. And you could cut the trees. After you cut the trees, before pala, if you want to do a lumber business, you get permission from, you first secure a permission from the government. After that, the government will allow you, okay, for your business, I would just allow you to cut like 500 trees. Pero that's only the minimum. Sabi niya we could cut around like 5,000 trees for that season. Season lang ha, ibig sabihin, may time lang sila mag-cut. Kuha? And there's a particular height of the tree. Kung ano lang yung pwede cut. Sa atin kasi, we cut trees here in the Philippines, ubos. Ito yung tree, ubos. Dito talaga. That's why the tree could not grow. But in Canada, what they do, there's just a certain part of the tree na hanggang doon lang, until to that part, pwede silang mag-cut. Then, that would, di ba pag kinat nyo yung tree, pag may naiwan pa, they could what? Regenerate, di ba? Yes or no? Pwede pa magsiwil?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ay, nakatayo pa siya, ma'am.
O, di ba? Pwede pa siyang
Mabubuhay pa siya, ma'am.
mabuhay pa siya. The tree could what? Regenerate. Ang problema sa atin sa Philippines, we are cutting trees that are very young, not old enough. Tapos, pag mag-cut naman tayo, yung sobra-sobrang pagka-cut naman. Grazing.
Hanggang sa root.
Minsan hanggang sa roots. What's grazing? Grazing is, ito siya yung sa cattle, God. Yung mga baka, tupa, ano pa ba? Yung marami kong hayop. Ano pa ba? Baka, tupa, kambing. What happens to grazing? Namamatay yung mga mga tanim na dinadaanan ng mga hayop na ito. Instead na may mabuhay pa, wala na. Namamatay kasi naapakan. Then we have fishing, then hunting. So, fishing is an important Philippine industry. It ranks next to what? Farming and livestock raising. Fish comes from the next to rice as Filipinos' staple food. So, fishing employs thousands actually, and millions of Filipinos for the livelihood. Bakit marami siyang ini-employ? Number one, starting from what? Sa mangingisda pa lang, sa kargador, sa tigbugsay, Di ba? Ang dami na ng taong ina-employ. And, eto siya. Sino ba nakapunta na dito? Who among you has a relative or someone you know from General Santos City that works in a canning factory? Meron ba?
Sa Gen 2 na, ma'am?
Oh, pwede Gen 2 na. So question, di ba doon sa kanila, they have 24 hours
Yes, ma'am.
operation?
Yes,
24
ma'am. 24
hours.
hours.
They have
Pwede ka
24
mamili,
hours.
ma'am. Pwede ka mamili ng shift, night
They
shift.
have They have 24 hours operation. And they have 3 shifts. Tatlong 8 hours shift yan. Hindi sila pwede mag 12 hours kasi mamamatay din yung tao. And number 1, if you are working in the canning factory, basa ka po niyan. Tama man, Day?
Yes,
No?
ma'am.
Di ba? Basa
Yes,
sila. They are very wet. Basa sila tapos pas mo ka. So, usually they just do the 8-hour shift. So, eto siya. General Santos City has 10 tuna factories. So, grabe, di ba? Livelihood pa lang, di ba? Isipin nyo, 10 tuna factories. Sa isang shift niyan, one shift, halimbawa, sa kaliskis pa lang, o sige, for the whole operation, galing sa paghulog ng the dropping of fish from the cargo hanggang magawa yung tuna. Hindi pa kasali dyan yung canning, ha? Kasi we have a different canning factory sa Jensan. Kuha nyo? Hindi magkasama ang tuna and canning. Sila. Ang tuna and ang factory ng can. Gets nyo?
yes,
Magkaibang
ma'am.
industry po yan sila. So, for example, doon tayo sa tuna factory. So, anong mangyayari sa kanila? What? 10 tuna company, then what if sa isang shift, merong 500 ka tao? O, di ba? So, sa whole day, ilang tao ang nag-ooperate dyan? 1,500 ka tao. Then, you multiply it to 10 canning companies, tuna. Then, we also have the 4 canning companies, yung gumagawa lang talaga ng lata. O, di ba? So, the income generated from the fishing company is what? Very high. And actually, most of the people in Jensen would, they would prefer to work in canning company. You ask people from Jensen because the pay there is very high. Very high. The pay there is very good. For example, you work in KCC. I don't know how much KCC pays you.
3,000, I think.
No, per day.
Ay.
Minimum, di ba? Minimum, tapos
Mm.
you have the minimum, but you also have the SSS, the everything.
Pag-ibig.
Yeah, you have all the slice. But if you work in a tuna company, the company actually shoulders your insurance. So what happens?
Makaipon ka ng marami, ma'am.
Makaipon ka if you are good, but some of those tuna company, they are people, some of those people who are working in the tuna industry, mga palahubog din. So, wala rin naipon. But they are they're well off actually. Marami silang pera. So, very good livelihood siya. So, we have different fishing grounds. So, Sulu, Palawan, and we have the Malampaya. Oh, ang dami, di ba? We also have Jensen. So, let us see. Oh, nakita niyo yan? Production in tons. Wow. Di ba? Hindi siya We are not just saying kilo, di ba? This is what? Tons, tonelada. Mm. So what do you think, what would happen if everything will be will be polluted? Do you think these numbers are good? Are parang na lang to numbers na ito. Pangarap na lang, di ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh. Fish development, di ba? In hectares. Ito naman in production in tons. 6,744 tons. Diyos ko Lord, ang dami na niyan. Oh, so, other here, the swamp land. Oh. Meron mga lutayan dyan? Wala pa.
Yes, ma'am.
So, we have the different classification of fisheries. So, please paki-screenshot na lang nito. We have the inland and the fish pen. Saan ba ang mas maganda dito? Ang inland o ang fish pen? So, that would be your assignment, ha? Compare the two. Which would you prefer? An inland fishery or fish pen? Ano lang yan sa mga one paragraph lang, ha? Number 2 na yan siya, di ba? Number 2. So, you compare those two. Next, we also have the coastal fishery or the inshore fishery. Marami nito sa maasim. Di ba? Pag minsan, if you go to Sarangani province, sino ba dito yung naliligo sa Sarangani province ng like early pa? Di ba you would see people na nagadala ng net, naglalakad lang sa gilid ng ng shore, ng beach. Then ayun, marami na silang nahuhuli. Nakakita na kayo niyan? Uy, hopefully nakakita pa kayo.
Wala,
Or-
ma'am.
Or iba yung fish
Sa
pen.
Lake Mamara.
Iba yun, hindi yan
Lake
siya fish
Lutayan.
pen. Ano lang yan siya, yung parang nagatayo lang yan sila, tapos ginalagay nila sa ilalim yung para siyang nag-fish siya pa rin, pero nasa coastal lang, nasa gilid lang
Ayun.
ng beach.
Ma'am, yung parang tinatapon lang nila yung net.
Oo.
Hindi.
Tapos nasa gilid lang sila ng ng beach.
Yan ba sa lake? Meron, ma'am.
Kita nyo?
Yes,
Within
ma'am.
the 3-mile limit. Oh, hindi sila malayo. Pero if you already experience going to Sarangani province, you would see this one. Pag maagang-maaga kayo. Kasi ginagawa nila to umaaga pa. Yung wala pa masyadong mga beach goers.
Maling di ba
lang.
nasa, ma'am?
Ha?
Mamaling, bali yung malalaking net na may kahoy, tapos parang hinuhuli lang nila.
Oo.
Maraming mga tao.
Oo. Pero hindi to steady. Inaalis din yan siya. Oo. Oh, eto na siya ang deep sea or offshore fishing. Ito talaga siya yung may mga unay. Ano yung unay? Yung may isang malaking barko. Tapos,
Panagatan.
panagat, tagin siya.
Yes.
Tapos yung malaking barko, kinukuha ng maliliit na mga barko para dalhin sa shore. Ito yung yung sa Jensan. Mga tuna, ginagawa natin sa tuna. So, let us not dwell on this. So, in 1990s, our export objective. So, eto na yung siya yung export. This is the boom of the Philippine fishing industry. So, we also have what? Seaweed farming. Sino kumakain ito seaweeds? Paki-screenshot na lang ito. Hindi ko na ito siya masyado i-discuss kasi madali naman ito. Then, let's talk about the problems in the fishing industry.
Itong ring light, anay namin sa
So,
bawat.
lack of technical know-how and technical manpower. Ito kasi siya. If you would go to different countries around the world, their fishermen actually goes to school. Meron tayong mga marine biologists, diba? Mga fishery. Ang problema natin sa fishery natin is they know what to do, but they don't have the budget or they don't have the technical assistance. Kuha? Ito na siya. Alam nyo ba, do you know for a fact that if you, for example, sino na nakakaalam na, do you know Thailand, diba? Alam Thailand. Alam niyo naman Thailand, diba?
Yes.
Ganito yan siya. If you are a resident of Thailand and you graduated, the government will lend you 1 million pesos, no, 1 million baht. And you could repay it in your own terms. Ikaw, kung matino ka na na estudyante, matino, if you are a very good student, matino ka na tao, your 1 million baht, basically you could pay that after, di ba? Pag i-business mo siya. Kuha nyo? Kaya walang kasi sa kanila, nag-aral sila. Pagtapos sila mag-aral, anong ginawa nila? The government would give them 1 million baht. After that, pag business, you present a business proposal, then gagawin mo yung business mo. Do you think maghihirap ka pa niyan? Ang problema, mga Pinoy kayo, imbes na kwarta sa Unifast, para sa pag-eskwela nyo, ginagaw nyo. Gibayad sa utang. So, this is how do Thai people do their livelihood. Next, inadequate transportation, distribution, ito siya pinakamasakalap, refrigeration in the centers of production. Alam nyo ba na yung Jensen, diba? Jensen has a very good refrigeration system. But what happens to the fish coming from Zamboanga? Fish coming from Sulu? Saan pupunta? Alam niyo saan pupunta yung mga isda na galing sa Sulu, sa Zamboanga? Or basically, sometimes yung galing sa Jensen. Alam niyo ba saan pupunta? Alam niyo?
Sa Jensen?
Hindi. Hindi. Free. Alam niyo ba saan pupunta?
Hindi.
Saan? Saan, Miss Ocampo?
Wala akong idea, ma'am, kung saan napupunta yung mga isda.
Okay. Alam niyo ba saan napupunta yung ating mga isda? If it doesn't go to General Santos City, which is around konti na yung pumupunta sa Jensen, they go to Papua New Guinea. And si Papua New Guinea is, sino nandun? Si Papua New Guinea po ay may isang, may si Papua New Guinea? Nandun si RD. RD God, alam yung RD? Yung RD Pawn Shop, RD. Meron po silang kaning doon. And we have Century Tuna. Century Tuna is RD. Nasa Papua New Guinea po yun siya. Yung isda natin, pag binalot na yan, pag ginawa na yan, nakakan na yan, binibenta sa atin na mas mahal. And to think, galing sa atin yung isda. Oh, diba? Amazing! Imbalance in exploitation effort. Ito yung nangyayari. Exploitation of resources. There are some areas that they are not protected. They are overexploited. Kung saan yung maraming isda, doon lang sila nag-fish. This what happens. Alarming increase in water pollution. I hope this doesn't happen to General. Actually, General Santos City, Davao is all actually doing their efforts. Nagabakawan na sila, di ba? To sustain the water. Gusto ba? Hindi nag-move yung slides ko. Okay. Difficult execution management the dual control of freshwater areas. Ito siya. Marami tayong mga batas na wala namang kwenta. And may mga batas tayo that are not helping people. No? Alam niyo na yan. Inadequacy of fish seedlings. Wala tayong mga binhi. Punta ka sa tayan, maraming binhi doon. And the financing. Katulad din sila ng mga agricultural farmers, walang nag-finance. Yes, they will have the harvest, but yung harvest lang nila is it will just be what? Ano lang? It would just be enough for what? To pay their utang. 'Di ba? Utang, trabaho, bayad, trabaho, utang, bayad, trabaho, utang, bayad. So that's the cycle. So that's why sabi nga nila, yung mga mahirap, lalong humihirap, yung mayaman, lalong yumayaman. So fish resources, so okay, alam niyo naman yan. So overfishing. So let us do with this. Finally, deep sea fishing. So I would like you to look for articles. Ito yung pangatlo ha. Look for articles. Articles lang ha. Screenshot nila yung article, yung title niya. Parang sa newspaper, pero online lang siya. You look for articles, 5 articles. 5. You look for 5 articles that we have a problem in our fishing industry. Then you look for 5 articles that what is good happening in our fishing industry. You don't need to look for hindi nyo kailangan nagawa ng reflection. Ang gusto ko lang is you screenshot it, then you post the pictures. You just post the pictures sa Schoology, sa video sa video nito, sa discussion nito. 3 yung ipapasa nyo ha. Okay na? Time na, sabi ni Zoom. Beta kay ano ko muna ha. Check ko muna kung sino online. Wow, ang dami nyo.